It's funny. Instagram is junk top to bottom. Even just using it is miserable. Every single time, just to be able to post something on it is such a headache. Okay, well, I managed to post on it, so lucky me. Now, let me post over here, which is as simple as saying paste and go. Why does it have to be any more difficult than that? Guess what? It doesn't. And yet somehow it is. All right, so everything is now posted. We're good. Let me just go to here and make sure that I've got the correct thing selected before I hit the button. There it is. And there we go. Perfect. And let's start up the social stream. Let's see if the live source is available. It's been pretty good lately. Hey, there it is. It does not by default select the correct one, but the correct one is in the list, and that's fine with me. So let me make sure I am not muted here. I'm not. Good. Let me hit the button, and then we'll see. Oh, I heard a noise. Hopefully that was the standard noise. Let's see. Test 1. Hey, look at that. That worked. Okay, hold on. Let's see if the other one works. If it does, we're in business. Test 2. It helps if I can type correctly, though. Yeah, there it is. You can already see it. Good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna roll our beautiful bean footage here, and we'll be ready to go. Because yeah, amazingly, right at the 2-minute mark. Ooh, that's a rarity. All right, let's see here. Let's see. And everything's there. The social. Okay, it's all working. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so we're going to continue working on the depressed cybernetic cowboy. I don't know what else this is called. For my friend Doug Bielmeier's upcoming album, well, in the fall. So 4 or 5 months out, something like that. Coming out later this year, I guess I should say. Upcoming. Titled, I should say titled. It's not called, it's titled Electric Rodeo Revival. And that's what this image is for. So I'm just going through and doing some detail on the hair here to make it look like cables. Make sure this is the right, okay, that's the right pen. Am I on the right layer? I am certainly not on the right layer. Layer 62? Yes. 62 is the correct layer to keep working on this. So we're just going through and segmenting each of these hairs to make them look like they're computer or connector cables of some kind. And then what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll actually color each of these little segments when I'm done. Not quite that much. Let's do it there. How about that? Yeah. I just realized I have to cough. Hey, Chameleon, I'm going to mute for a second so I can cough. There we go. Happy Monday. Jeez. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I did a Friday stream. I'm sitting here going, it doesn't seem like it's been a week. It hasn't been a week. I did a stream on Friday. Got my days mixed up. Well, happy Monday. Hope all is well with you. Let's see. Oh, I'm just making dots everywhere. All right, let's go ahead and do a segment there, a segment there, a segment there, a segment there, and a segment there. Oh, gotta complete it. Segment there. Nope, that's a little bit light. Let's get it all the way across. There we are. Okay. You know what's weird? I didn't hear the sound, but I can see your text. Maybe I was talking over it. Get a drink of water really quick. How are you doing on this fine Monday? Well, it is evening, probably everywhere. Nothing like a cold glass of water. All right. Let's see. Let's do double line, single line, double line, single line, double line, and a single line. There we go. Just gotta alternate the patterns on these things. And let's see, what have I not done for a couple of things here? Oh, I heard it that time. Just busy working on a new video. How are you? I'm good. What kind of video are you working on? If you want to say. You don't have to if you don't want to. Let's do a 3-line segment. Yeah, let's do 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. They gotta be even. 1, 2, 3. I'm doing well. This This image is coming together fairly well, so I'm actually pretty happy with it, because it doesn't always happen, but this one feels like it's going pretty smoothly so far. So I haven't started the horse yet, but I like where this one is going. Another thing I might do is I might create a bit of a segment here so that it looks like there's, like the jaw is separated. I want this to push in the background a little bit. So I'm probably going to do that. So I may create like a ridge here, so it, like there's a separation, and then this area will be a little bit recessed in. I don't know why I didn't do that from the beginning, but I'll do it now. It's fine. So that's about the only thing I think I'm going to actually adjust. Everything else, I don't know if this lip color is going to be purple. It's a gaming video, but I keep having to re-record it because my audio sounds bad in my drafts. I may have to voice over it. Yeah, well, that's the tricky bit about that stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm glad with my videos that I do for different things. I can't do anything to a script. I just have to talk. So it's like a one and done thing, and I'm really happy about it because I see what some people have to go through. And it would not be for me. I just wouldn't be able to do it. To me, it's like I either just hit it the first time or whatever. It's not happening. So I'm much more laid back with that stuff. I just don't. I was talking about this with somebody over on Patreon. I think it was on Patreon, yeah. Where I said, I've given up on. I shouldn't say given up. I never really did get into the whole algorithm thing with all these different platforms and trying to figure out what makes a video hit and not, or whatever. It just isn't for me. I shudder if I read a script. Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I shouldn't say that. I can read a script if somebody gives me one. If somebody were to come to me and say, hey, I'd like you to do a voiceover for this video, here's the script. That I can do because somebody else wrote it. If I write it, I can't do it. It just doesn't work. But I can read somebody else's. Same person on Patreon does voiceover work. And he posted some of the sample things that he did. And I did those in one shot. And I did them fairly well because I didn't write it. So if I'm reading somebody else's stuff, it's not a problem. If I were to try to make my own script, no, won't work. Can't do it. I tried it a long time ago a few times. And it very, very quickly became obvious that I am not built for doing my own stuff that way. With me, I just speak. I just talk. Usually for too long, but it's the way it works for me is I just ramble, and it tends to just work out. Let's see. I can't read out loud. I'm trying to sound like a toddler learning how to talk. Yeah, for some reason, as long as I'm not in the middle of an audience or something, if it's not in a public setting, I'm okay with reading stuff out loud. Like I said, as long as I'm not writing it, because then it's like, oh, this is terrible. Like I just couldn't do that. But reading other people's stuff, I just had to do that because I was doing some tests of my microphone settings. So actually, Doug, the person who I'm doing this image for, I basically took my microphone and I did like 4 different readouts of a I don't know, probably about a paragraph. But I tried to read them identically every time, which is impossible. At least it is for me. But I got it pretty close. I have to say, I was pretty happy with how similar they really were, because otherwise it's not really a valid microphone test if it sounds wildly different every time. So it worked out okay. So no, I can read stuff as long as I didn't write it. Then I'm okay with it. It's not so bad. But as far as doing scripts for any of my stuff, no. Yeah, it's not for me. I'm a better off-the-cuff type, stream of consciousness type of thing than trying to write a script. I look at what some people have to go through to write scripts, and I'm just, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and then you have to perform it, and I just find it easier to... I usually have a starting point or an ending point, but that's as much as I come up with, and I don't write it down. I just kind of go with it and see where it goes. Which doesn't always work. I'm not going to pretend like I nail it every time. When I do my 5-minute shows, generally the 5-minute shows, when I do those, I would say, okay, let me think about this for a minute. Let's see, I've never done anything with a voice recording before. I'm scared about it because I'm back. But you're doing, okay, are you doing this with the camera on, or are you just voicing over like video game footage? Because that makes a big difference. I'm assuming you're doing it over footage, but are you in the actual video as well, or are you doing, like, I know not everybody does that. Not everybody's on camera. There's a lot of streamers, and this is how I do it. My video games, I'm not in the camera. I just have the video game going and I'm talking over it. Like my Stalker 2 videos, I'm never in those. There's just no reason for it, because honestly, it would be boring to look at me just kind of whipping my head around on the screen and looking at things. I'm not a dynamic person. I can't show my face. Okay, so you're reading over, or you're talking over the video. To me, that's not really, you can fool yourself into that not being public speaking because they're not seeing you. So you can really, because like as I'm talking now, and you can't see it because I'm not on the camera, but I'm moving my hands a lot and I'm making weird faces, which would look really dumb on a camera, but since nobody can see me, it's just me talking, and it's fine. So that's how I would try to think of it, is that it's not really public speaking. And the reality is, if somebody's watching your video, they're going to stick around for what you're saying because you're not on camera. So they're going to, and even if they don't necessarily love everything that you're saying, if the video game is interesting, they're not going to care. I'll be very honest with you. I've watched videos on video games, even though the person who's doing the narration, trust me when I tell you, as bad as you think you are, there's a thing that they tell you a lot in school as a way to kind of, especially for in art school in particular, they tell you this, but I assume they tell you this in like music and everything else. As good as you think you are, there's always somebody better. That's a common saying. Here's the other side of that. As bad as you think you are, I guarantee there's a bunch of people out there who are worse. So you will never be the worst one or the best one. So as long as you keep that in mind, you just do whatever you want to do. And it's fine. Because like I said, just remember, you're never going to be the worst. You're never going to be the best. And a lot of the pressure comes off once you do that. Once you accept that and you're okay with it, it gets a lot easier. Trust me. So I wouldn't stress out too much about it. It really would. Because if your face isn't on the camera, you don't have to worry about whether you make a funny face. Let me tell you something. Everybody says stupid stuff. And this is the thing, is if you're not doing it live, because this is this is not a live stream, right? This is a video you're making where you're doing the talking over it, right? Do I have that right? I want to make sure I've got that right before I say anything else, because if I've got that wrong, then this is going to be pointless what I'm about to say. Hold on, let me do these segments here. I'm making that assumption, but I don't know if that's right. I'm going to make bigger segments here. There's no reason I can't stretch those out a little bit. There we go. A little bit of something different, and then we'll go back to doubles. Let's see. Okay, so no matter what you say that's stupid, you can edit it. So the thing is, you want to just leave little spaces here and there. So when you finish a sentence, this is okay. I don't know if this is considered a trick or not, if everybody does this, if I'm the only moron who figured this out or whatever. I used to have that same problem when I started out, when I started doing stuff in general. And then there was a point where I realized that, okay, after I finish a sentence, I pause for longer than usual before I start the next sentence. And that gives you a nice break. So let's say that you recorded for, I don't know, I'm just going to say 15 minutes. You do those breaks, like a second or two, like just the time that it would take. So as an example, I'll give you a sentence and a break in a sentence. There's a truck coming down the road. Well, there goes the truck. It just drove by. That space in between those two sentences, if I said something stupid either in the first sentence or the second sentence, because of that space, all I have to do is immediately say the correct thing instead of the stupid thing, or I can go back later and edit it because you have the space, and then you just cut out the spaces so it sounds like you just keep talking. Nobody's ever going to know. They're not going to pay attention. When we make stuff, and I think everybody does this, we think more critically about what we're doing than the people watching our stuff. Unless you really screw up. Like if you literally are talking and you suddenly throw up in the middle of your sentence in the video and you leave it in, yes, somebody's going to pick up on that. But if you just have a little space or something where you edit in a different sentence, unless you use a completely different mic and you do it on a day where it was windy when it wasn't before, unless it's obvious stuff, most people, even if they notice, don't care. So many videos are so heavily edited that people are used to that. So they're not going to care. So if you say something and you go back and listen to it later and you go, oh boy, I didn't like how that sounded at all, just re-record it. It's not going to matter because you're going to release it when it's where you want it to be. And that's it. You don't overthink it. Because if you get to that point where you're starting to think about everything, you'll never release it. You'll just never do it. And that's worse. Put the thing out there. Once you've got it where you're happy with it, and I'm betting that nobody's going to care. I'm telling you, they're not going to care. If the thing that they're watching and your commentary is going along and it's smooth, and that's all they're going to care about. The thing that people really get hung up on, it's not the stuff that people say, unless they're saying really hateful, ugly stuff, which I'm assuming you're not. Like terrible stuff. Outside of that, the thing that bugs most people is bad audio quality. That's really, or bad video quality, but honestly, if you're recording a video game, I don't think you have to worry about that. It's more of going to be, do you have a bad microphone, or is there a lot of noise in the background? Do you keep here? I'll give you an example. Bumping the mic like that. That's the stuff that drives, or eating. That's the other thing. Unless you're doing an ASMR video where you're intending to eat on a microphone, which I know some people like, and it mystifies me. But outside of that, that's the thing that people notice is bad audio. They're going to notice that your equipment is no good. But are they going to notice if you edited out a line or something because you didn't like something that you said? No, they're not going to notice. You'll be fine. Really, they're not going to notice. They'll get more on you if your microphone is a $10, Fisher Price. I think that brand still exists. I'm pretty sure. That's what they're going to get on you. It's not going to be because they notice that you edited out something. Everybody does that. Everybody does that. There are very few people who can just knock a video out and not have any issues. We just ran into this. We recorded our show, what's today? The last night. And for whatever reason, we were on a Zoom meeting and my co-host Zoom side just cut out. Let's see. Eating gets me. I can't with the mouth sounds. Oh, yeah. Where somebody's crumbing like that thing. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is that's the stuff people get hung up on. Everything else, if there's a minor edit, they might notice it, but they're not going to care. They're really not going to care. At this point, we're so far past that, where there are people who do videos and they do recordings, and the recordings got all kinds of noise in the back. I mean, I don't think most people even care. And here's another thing. That's assuming they're even playing it back or listening to it with a good enough set of speakers to hear the little imperfections. Because a lot of people play videos back on their phone. So even if there's like a random thing or a hiccup or whatever in the background, they might not even hear it because a phone's speakers aren't that good. AirPods aren't that good, unless they're listening through like $500 headphones. Not going to hear any of that stuff. That's what I'm saying is, don't get hung up on that little stuff because you'll never put the video out. You'll obsess about it. I say this as somebody who used to do that. I used to go through the videos and I used to edit out every little thing where I'd take a breath or I'd say or something. And honestly, number one, it took way too long and nobody cared. I gave up on it and it never was a problem. I just got better microphones so that things were clear. And that's what people wanted. That's it. So I don't get paralyzed by, little things. I mean it. It's not going to be as big a deal as you think. As long as you don't have a bad microphone or like buzzing or stuff like that. Because there are people who have their microphone cords are running through something with interference and you hear like a bzzz the whole time. Oh boy, that's bad. That's the stuff that people really hate. But anything else, I think you're going to find that you'll be all right. I don't know why I came to a dead stop there. I was kind of looking at the cables and I was thinking about the next thing I wanted to do. Sorry, but yeah, I wouldn't get too fixated on that. I just don't think. I think it's just going to make you more stressed than anything. I'm going to try a tester video first, playing just a chill basic mobile game. Then maybe I'll move on if that takes off. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, find something that's got like a short run, you know, like a roguelike or whatever that you can do a 5 or 10 minute run on. Do a couple of those, and see what happens. And the thing is, I mean, the other problem is, you know, you don't know what's going to catch when. So you could post a video and have nothing on it for a month, and then suddenly 100 people find it. You don't know why. That's what I mean. All these algorithms, all this stuff, it's all garbage. It doesn't actually work. I'm convinced that it's all just make-believe. It's just that at certain times, people get into a certain type of video, and if enough of them do it together at the same time, that's why something becomes popular. But all these videos I see, all these people who post, here's how you can get 1,000 views on your YouTube channel. No, I don't buy it, because the YouTube algorithm is so bad. Twitch, they're all terrible. They routinely, YouTube more than the rest, because there's just so much out there. The stuff that YouTube recommends to me is laughably incorrect. You know, it doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't really know what my tastes are. It has no sense of it, and it gets it wrong so comically often that I just sit here and go, how does anybody think this thing actually works? Because it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's not as great an algorithm as people seem to think it is. It just is not. Sorry, it isn't. You know, I know there's lots of smart people that work at Google, but I don't think that they're working on the YouTube algorithm, or they've given up on it. They're just letting it run on autopilot, because it gets things so wrong so often. And not only does it get things so wrong, it has suggested things to me that are of a subject matter I have never watched anything on in my life. Not even close. It suggested something about cruise ships to me the other day. It had a bunch of cruise ship videos. I've never been on a cruise. I don't particularly care. I don't really want to go on a cruise. This is just me personally. I just don't have no interest. And yet it suddenly just threw all these cruise videos at me, which tells me that probably somewhere else, somebody else was watching cruise videos, or a bunch of people, and so it thought, oh, if I show it to them, then he's going to think it's popular, therefore he's going to watch it. No, wrong. I said don't recommend it to me. Oh, by the way, there's something else. I've said don't recommend channel, and then reloaded it, and it's still there on a different, you know how it's got the rows, it says like for you, recommended, recently, and how come those can't stay in the same order? Recently loaded, sometimes it's first, sometimes it's fourth, sometimes it's at the bottom, sometimes it doesn't appear. I mean, yeah, exactly, right? So that's the thing, is somewhere those videos are getting a bunch of views, and so it's trying to make you think it's something you want to see just because it's popular. And it's not learning anything. It's not actually paying attention to what you care about. It's trying to make you think you care about something that other people care about. And that's what I mean about, you can't get hung up on that stuff, because you're just going to chase nothing. You will chase an algorithm that is not going to do anything for you. So you make the stuff that you like making, and then you either trust that people are going to show up, or you're just going to end up opening that dashboard thing. I looked at that a couple days ago, the YouTube dashboard. I was just curious. I can't make heads or tails of that thing. It makes no sense. I was watching other people doing the same thing, and they're like, I don't know why this video is big and this one. It's because it's all nonsense. It's all just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I do think that there are videos that get buried because they're badly made, but that's what I'm saying, is as long as you're not making a bad video, then people will find you. I haven't done anything to boost any of our videos. I don't do shorts. I don't do special thumbnails. They're all identical and the same. And yet subscribers keep coming. Slowly, we didn't have 1,000 people come to the channel or anything like that, but people slowly find it. And I think it's because I'm not putting a million like, subscribe, ring the bell things on there. I'm not, screaming about buy my stuff, go to here, do this, make sure you like, make sure you leave a comment, all that. I just don't do any of that. This stuff is all just what I do, and either you like that or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. Go find something else. And if you do, then you subscribe and you're going to get more of it. That's all. I'm sitting here, and this is not even like me having a bunch of master theories on how all this stuff works. This is just what I'm seeing. Because I know there are people who think that they can figure out the magic formula for this stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking there's no magic formula. You're not going to figure it out because it don't exist. People just find videos and creators that they like, and they stick with them. That's how I do it. Really. My video quality's gone up, I think, but I mainly do shorts. Shorts are convenient. Oh, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with shorts. Just to be very clear, that's not me saying shorts are bad. Right? I tend to like long form stuff, but a lot of people like the short ones, and that's fine. And that's what I'm saying is, I see people who do every type of video. Shorts, half-hour ones, 2-hour ones, like they're trying to hit every possible thing. I think it's a bad idea. You do the stuff that you like doing, and if it's convenient and you like doing the short ones, then stick with those. And the people who appreciate those are going to stick with you. And the other thing is this, the people who find you that way, not because you're trying to get one of those thumbnails that gets people to click or whatever, the people who find something and they realize that somebody's just doing this because they like doing it, they're going to stick with you because they know you're going to keep doing that. You're not chasing whatever the trend is or whatever these type of videos are or all this stuff. They're going to know the difference. You know, people can figure that stuff out. And it's very obvious which people are doing the stuff like everybody else is doing and which people are doing things that they actually genuinely enjoy doing. And the ones where they sense that somebody's doing something they enjoy doing, they're going to stick around. Those people will be loyal. Because that's how it's been for me is, you know, for our podcast, it's been around a long time. And we have people who've stuck around for like 15, 16 years. We're not doing anything drastically different now than we ever did. Really, we're not. So the only thing that tells me is that they enjoy the content and they know that we're going to consistently do it. That is one other thing. Is I do think that the one of the few actual, I think, hold on, my eye is itching me. One of the few things I think is a good rule of thumb for anything, content creation-wise, is to be consistent in your schedule. You don't want to just be randomly firing videos here or there. A lot of people don't like that. So you do want to kind of figure out what your schedule and your rhythm is. I'm trying to branch out with my content. I'm running out of stuff in my normal category. Okay, but that's fine. If that's what you want to do, then you should do it. I'm just saying the idea that you should try to do what other people are doing because it's popular, don't do that. Do the stuff that you think is interesting. Branching out is fine. That's really what this is. Originally, all our channel had, our main channel was just video game playthroughs. But now I do the art stream, I've got movie reviews on there, but that's stuff I like doing. So it is branching out, but not because I saw that, trust me, there is not a lot of demand for 4-hour videos on obscure Russian science fiction films. If there was, I'd be in there. I mean, I am, because that's what we did the videos of. But that's not because I saw there were a lot of people who were after that. I just wanted to talk about obscure Russian science fiction movies. And so I found somebody who was willing to do that, and we did the video. You know? So, branching out's fine. If you find that you're reaching the end of enjoying what you were doing before, then you should branch out. You shouldn't just do something that's boring to you. You should find the stuff that interests you and try to meld it to where you want to go. I think the main point is there's no one way to do it. And that's why I'm saying is just do the thing you want to do. Don't worry about whether you think, you know, you'll have to voice over or dub it. Go ahead, dub it. There was an entire genre of film. Italian filmmakers, a lot of Hong Kong action filmmakers through the 70s, 80s, and 90s never recorded sound. They dubbed everything. And people didn't care because they liked the movies. So whether it sounds like it's live or dubbed or everything, it's all just detail stuff. But all that matters is if they're interested in what you're doing. Everything else is secondary. A lot of these things that we get hung up on now that we think are unique problems aren't. They've always been around, and they generally don't matter as much as we think they do. So, branching out, though, is a good idea. It's keeping things fresh, keeping yourself interested. You have to do that. Otherwise, you will burn out, and you'll just become bored. And that's not good for anybody. It's not good for you, and it's not good for your channel. So you don't want to get bored with what you're doing. You want to look forward to every video you do. I think that's the main thing. If you're looking forward to doing it, then you're doing what you need to do. If you dread doing it, the actual video. The thing I always dread is editing, because the fun for me is doing the thing, but then the edit is what takes a while, because I try to do it the way I want to do it, and that's not always the simplest. And I'm just not a particularly great video editor, so, or at least I don't think I am. So it's definitely work. But like I said, I want it to look a certain way, I want it to sound a certain way, so the only way I can do that is if I do it. It's kind of like doing all these lines. All these little lines on these hairs. I could probably find a brush that would do this all for me, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather just do it myself. So, consequently, it's going to take a while, and this, I will admit, is not the most exciting thing in the world to do, but that's okay. I want to try my hand at horror style art, so I may make a video on that. I also want to get into gaming. Yeah, you know what? That's a good video to do, because there's going to be plenty of videos of people who are doing horror art, and they've been doing it for a while, and they know what they're doing, and that's fine. But it's, I think, what, 2 videos ago, where I was trying to figure out some of the stuff for this particular image, and I was just kind of screwing around with it. And I think that's good too. I think people like to see the process of how people arrive at what they're doing. So I would definitely do videos on that, like playing around, experimenting, seeing what you like, doing a couple of test drawings and see how they come out. And as long as you're clear up front about, okay, I'm trying this, I haven't done it before, then even if, it doesn't come out correctly, people aren't going to care. But I do it. Why not? Why not try it? The worst that happens is you don't like it and nobody watches it and you do something else. That's the worst that's going to happen. Really. And you might be surprised. Happens all the time where people think, oh, nobody's going to watch this, and people come to it. People find stuff all the time. I've talked to a lot of people who were genuinely surprised when people found their stuff and stuck with it. It happens more often than you think. Because if you just consider how many people there are in the world, and so many people have such wildly different tastes, that it's not a ridiculous thing to think that people will come and find your stuff and enjoy it. So if you want to try the horror style art, you should do that. You should absolutely do it and see how it works. You know what? That's bugging me. That right there is bugging me. That is not as clean a line as I would like. There we go. I got to clean that a little bit. I need that to be a little more gradual. Okay, good. Let's just dovetail that right in. There we go. Much better. That's how I want that to look. Okay. So. But don't get me wrong, I understand that kind of impulse. In the videos I started doing with the movie reviews, I don't even know how long it took me to figure out how I wanted the lower thirds to look. So they're wildly different in the first probably 4 videos. The name tags that I put on there, they're really different. They're in different spots, they're different colors, some are hard edge, some are soft edge, and I finally just said, I did one, I'm like, that's it. I'm just sticking with this. It looks fine. I'm not going to keep messing around with it. Just stick with it. And I just stuck with it. And it's fine. And honestly, I don't think anybody even cares. They look at the name early on. They know who it is. That's it. They're done. They're not going to even care if it keeps appearing. Even though I keep it on the screen, I probably don't even need to. But there again, I got hung up on that for a long time. And then I finally went, yeah, it's fine. Just let it go. I just think it'll be more fun for people to watch if I'm talking because I'm funny. I don't want to sound big-headed, but when I'm not being cringe, I'm funny. Well, listen, you play around with it and you see what you like. If that's what you want to do, the only trick with that is, I think it'll be more fun people to watch if I'm talking because I'm funny. Yeah, I think people... How do I answer this? Or how do I say this the correct way? I think whether people are funny or not, or interesting or not, and all that stuff, people just like personalities of individuals, and they like them for different reasons. So you never know. It could be because you're funny, or it might just be because they like the way that you perceive what you're doing, like the horror style art. The way that your mind works might be the thing that they're interested in. And so what you're saying is less important than what they're seeing and how they're seeing your kind of process of doing it. But like I said, the most important thing is not to get too hung up on whether you're saying something stupid. Just do the video, or a couple of them, and see how they I don't want to say perform, because numbers aren't everything, but see how it goes. You know, because I mean, if you really hate the videos, or you find that they're just not what you want, you can always delete them. There's always the option to get rid of them. And you know, I know the saying is the internet is forever, but you know what? That's not really true for everybody. You know, that's true for the big name people or people who do things that become very noteworthy. But otherwise, if you don't like videos, you delete them. People will forget. And if you want to retool it and come back and have a different style, you can do that. You'll be fine. I really, like I said, I think the thing that I wish more people did was just do a couple of videos and see how it goes. Because you can get yourself stuck in the mud forever if you're kind of going back and forth on things. You know? Thanks for the encouragement. Yeah, you should. Yeah, why not? There's so many people, and the thing that, and I've said this before about art generally, but it's also true for videos and that type of thing, is there's no two people alike. Even twins, as similar as they might seem, no two people are alike. And that's the thing is, people like to find, this is going to be, saying something stupid, here's something stupid. This is going to sound stupid when I say it. People like to find different people. Now that sounds the dumbest thing in the world. But what I mean is, there's so many videos I've seen that are so similar to one another. And they're really well polished, and they've got this great lighting and this great background set, and they've got their speaking voice down, and they're talking like a presenter, and they have these transitions, and everything is 4K and crystal clear, and their hair is perfectly done, and their video is oh, look at this, they've got this transition happening here. All this. There's so much of that, and it starts to all kind of be the same. And so the thing that stands out is the person. And the more architected a person tries to be, the less they feel like an individual person. Now, this is just my opinion. What do I know about anything? So, I'm not trying to give out any big life lesson advice or whatever. But myself, when I look at stuff, I look for people who have, not this, defect is the wrong word, but I like to see what this one quirk of a video might be. I don't know if I've mentioned this individual in these streams. I think I have, but it probably hasn't been a while. There's a video game, I don't know if reviewer is even the correct word for what he does, but there's a person who's into old adventure games, and the channel is Grimbeard is the name of the channel, and the handle the person goes by. And this person is he's a goth. I mean, he says that, right? He's, you can tell, into goth stuff. That's not my scene at all. So the goth stuff, when he gets into it, that all kind of goes right over my head. But he has this very particular sense of humor, and he's really good at editing in this particularly funny way. And so that's the thing, is even though there's parts of what he's into that I have zero interest in, there's something that's unique about his channel that I haven't seen anybody else quite doing. Like the sense of humor is just a little different, just a little bit to the off kilter. There's a very particular deliberate way of editing videos that sometimes can be a little jarring and strange, but that's what I like about it. And that's what I mean about, it's not that the videos are very polished. They are. In fairness, they're well done. But that's not the thing that's appealing. I've seen other channels that cover that type of video game stuff, and they're just as polished. But it's the personality that is interesting and unique. And some of the way the joke delivery is done is, again, not unlike the humor styles I've seen other people do. But it's the combination of things. There's this slight train wreck quality that I think is by design to some of the segments. It just all works together the right way. But it's not like I've watched big video game review outlets like Digital Foundry is one of the most professional video game review outlets there is in terms of their videos are immaculate. I mean, they're beautifully done. Everybody on there is a very good presenter. They all have an individual style. They have a lot of expertise and technical knowledge. Like, those guys are pros. And their videos are stellar. Like, you could hold those videos up to a professional movie production and they're every bit as good. And yet this other channel is just as good in its lack of polish in these certain areas. And that's what I mean, is it comes down to what people really respond to, no matter what the algorithm or anything else will say. It's not the content, it's not the style, it's not it's the person. The person is always going to supersede everything. And that's what I mean about don't try to overthink it. You go in and you put yourself into it, and it'll pay off. That's what you want. You put yourself into those videos with the defects. Even if you say something stupid, leave it in. Who cares? The stupid stuff is not necessarily bad. You know what I mean? It isn't. All right, Chameleon. Well, I'm sorry if I've given you a bunch of garbage advice. I probably did. So, again, do whatever you want. The only thing I would really say is, but make the videos. Make something and see how it goes. Anyway, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out and listening to me ramble. And I hope you get a good night's sleep. So, yeah, don't stay up too late because it's not good for you. So, thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. I don't know that anything I said is of value. Probably isn't, really. What do I know about anything? I don't know anything. But I'll tell you what, I admit it. There's a lot of people who will act like they know something. And I try not to do that. I am just a bozo who likes to draw cartoons. That's as much as I have to do. We're looking at 42 minutes. Oh my God, I've been talking for that long. Yikes. Frightening. Frightening to realize that you can just keep talking for that long. I suppose to some... Oh, those are uneven. I don't like that. That's not even. I suppose that's a skill of some kind, but I don't know if it's a good skill of any kind. But then again, I guess if the stream... Wait, the background music is playing, right? I can never really hear it anymore. Okay, it shows it's there. All right. Yeah, I guess it must be an okay volume. Nobody said anything, so... I haven't changed it in a long time, so if it was bad, it's been bad for a while. But if you can't hear it, let me know and I can dial it up. I think the volume is good, but I haven't actually done a sound check of that for a while from anybody. So if it's too loud or too soft, let me know. If you'd rather I shut up and turn the background music up, I won't be offended. I really won't. Let's see. Oh, there's so many of these little hairs. I'm not going to color them, but it's worth it. They're coming out. You know what? Actually, I'm going to take a break from those hairs for a minute. And instead, just to do something different, let's do this. Let's go to the color layer. Yeah. No, that's different, right? Yes, it is. Okay, good. I thought it was, but I want to double check. So we'll put that here. That's a very slight difference in color, but, you know, it's something. The eye will pick it up, even though it is subtle. I don't think I have another... I don't have an intermediate color to this, do I? Hold on. Do I? Wait a minute. Do I? Hold on. That's that color. That's that color. Okay. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've got the darkest one. That's the lightest one. There should be two in between. So where is this one? Oh, no, no, no. I wouldn't want that. No, no, no. I got it. I got it. I had it right. I had it right. Okay. I had it right. Yeah, it's a slight difference, but it is there. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's good for the ears. I did want to look at doing a segment here, so let me look at this really quick. I need to. This has to come back up probably to 5, I want to say. Yeah, 5. Let me do a new layer here. What's this? Okay, so let's put it there. Let's take a look at how this would work real quick. If I wanted to segment this, so I'm going to try to follow this line. Do it thin. Man, that's the trick, is I want to try to mimic this line, but I think I'm going to have to do this. I think I have to do the whole thing and then let it smooth it out. Yeah, it's not really going to work that way. Okay, I think I know what I have to do. I think the only way to really do this is to actually duplicate the layer and move it. Let me find, there's that layer. Let's duplicate that layer. I'll turn this one way down so that I know what I'm, or no, let's turn this one way down. And I guess I gotta turn this one way down too. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm a dope. Something like, I'm gonna turn snap off for a minute. Turn snapping off. Just freeform move this a little bit. Because it doesn't have to be much. Okay, that might be good right there. Okay. Alright, that's probably what I want. Let's see. Let's erase this part. Because I don't need all that. So that would stop right there. Is there anything else to this image? Let me look. Turn that on. Or this can go back to full strength. Turn that off. Yeah, I don't need any of the rest of this to be duplicated, just that one section. So let's erase everything else so I don't mess anything else up. Because it's only that one area. There we go. That's all of it, right? Yes, perfect. Pull that back up, turn that back on, and now I have my secondary layer, my ridge there. That part's a little off down there, but I think that'll work. Yeah, I just want that to overlap, and then this back area is going to be very dark, so I'm going to have to make that even darker. So let me get the small eraser. Let's erase that, and let's get this back and see how I want to do this. Almost like that, where it just kind of joins there. There we go. Yeah, and then we'll segment that down like that. That segment doesn't need to be there, so let me find that line. Because that line, actually it was further up, wasn't it? I want to say, yep, there it is right there. Let's knock that out. And then, hold on, sorry, I'm thinking for a minute. Yeah, so basically I need to take this color. Okay, I gotta figure this out. That's that color, right? Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna take this color. I'm gonna put that right here because this is the under ridge. This will go straight across here, all the same, to create a separated ridge here. And then right there. That's the ridge line. Actually, would there even be a separation? I don't think there would. Yeah, I just realized that wouldn't separate that way. I know what I did wrong. I was sitting here and I knew something was bugging me about this, and I just figured out what it was. Okay, so I know what I did wrong. I'm gonna find, let's see. There, that. Okay, this goes away. Oh, no, that stays. Sorry, that stays. It's the other line. This one. This goes away. So this, I gotta be careful with that. Just do it carefully. Right, this all goes away. This is what I don't need right here. So this goes away, and then it extends down organically. I just have to fix the colors. There. Yep. Okay, that's what I want. So now I need this color. So I gotta come down here. I gotta fix this. 2 seconds. Yep, just gotta clean this up. That goes there. Just do this nice and easy. I mean, that bottom thing's gonna be a different color anyway, so it's not gonna matter in that. And then this is here. So we go, oh, I have to erase the other one. Yeah, this goes away now. So this goes away. So get rid of, oop, not that far, not that far. Forgot I was on the same layer. There we go. And the darker one, that also, oh. Okay, we can do a slightly bigger eraser for that then. That, and that, and all of that, right? Now on this one, we get rid of all this. And this is all just to push this slightly down. But now it slightly comes out, and then, now this is the tricky bit. So now I have to create another layer. Take the darkest color, do that, and then push that way down. But pull the saturation down too, to like there. Yeah. So that's gonna be, this is its own layer, correct? Yes. This is all underneath, and then what I think I'm gonna do is light colored cables and wiring down here, or something. Maybe engraving, but basically I want to push this way back. I want it to look like this is segmented off of the rest of the face. Like these plates are slightly further back. I may have made this too dark. I can lighten it if I need to, but I really want to emphasize that this is further in than everything else. Like pushed inwards. So let's do this. That might be too dark. We'll mess with that in a minute. Okay. Yeah, I think that might be too dark. Maybe that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. And then, oh, maybe it needs to be even a little bit brighter. Oh. Okay, like that. And then, what happens if I put this next to that? Okay, let's see. Let's get the paintbrush. Let's go behind. Go way back into there. Let's see. You know what? I think I way overthought this. We're going to go ahead and back all that out. I think it was fine the way it was. I think I way overthought that, which the nice part is it's easy to fix that. Just go backwards. There we go. And we just get rid of that until that vanishes. Keep going. Oh, that was all me just trying to locate that, huh? There we go. All right. So now we should have the 226s. Get rid of the new one. And there we go. There. Yep. I way overthought that. Looking at it, I'm sitting here going, I'm just making things complex for no good reason. So luckily, it's easy to back. Oh, I realized the video froze. Sorry. No, you didn't see any of that. You know what? I'm happy you didn't. Trust me when I tell you, I'm happy you didn't see that. Hold on, it should come back. Oh, wow, no, it's really stuck. Huh. Well, you know what, honestly, where it got stuck, that's weird. Hold on. Let me see if this, no, it's really stuck, isn't it? Oh, don't do that. It's really stuck. Oh, it's thinking. I think it lost its connection. Well, you know what? That's a good place to bring the stream to a close anyway. I mean, honestly, I didn't really accomplish much past what you saw anyhow. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here before I make another ill-advised decision. and say thank you very much for hanging out and listening to me ramble and muse about my opinions on how algorithms do or don't work and how people should or shouldn't make YouTube videos. I appreciate you hanging out and listening to all this stuff. Oh yeah, it completely crashed. It's just gone. Look at that. That is amazing. Yeah, it just completely crashed. Wow. Well, that hasn't happened in a while, so I guess I can't complain too much. Occasionally that happens. Anyway, like I said, it happened at the right time because I was making terrible decisions anyway, and luckily I reversed them all. So all you missed was me making this thing look really ugly and then realizing it and reversing my foolish decisions. So anyway, on that note, before anything else freezes or crashes, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So thank you for hanging out and again, listening to me just coming up with all kinds of nonsense. As I always say, go find a creator that you enjoy and throw them some support in some way. Subscribe to their YouTube channel, leave them a review if they have a podcast on a podcast feed of some kind. If you have some disposable income, a couple bucks here or there that you can throw their way and they have a way for you to do that, go ahead and do that. Just tell them you appreciate what you're doing, if nothing else. All that stuff adds up. It's all important. It will really mean the world to them because there's a lot of creators. Like so many things in life, it's easiest to just complain about things, but to take the time to say something constructive and positive, that's the thing that more people should do. So if you have the means to do that, then you should do it. On that note, thanks for being here and hanging out, and until the next stream, I hope all is well with you wherever and whenever you are. Until next time, take care.